Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So it has been a very hot minute since I recorded anything. Well, I have been doing readathons and also reading vlogs, but I just haven't posted anything yet. So those videos will come soon after this one. I thought that I would first walk you guys through my reading progress, because if you guys don't know, the reason that I actually just started YouTube and also book Twitter and also Bookstagram, all the books, and basically being part of the book community is to actually improve my reading. Not only the pace, because before I used to read really fast. Now I don't know, fall somewhere in between, or mediocre speed, I don't know. And yeah, I just wanted to read more books in general, and was also inspired by the other people in the book community to actually start this kind of thing. And so today we are going to talk about my July reads, recent reads. Yeah, so July wrap up. Some people call that. Okay, so let's just say that it's a July wrap up. So July was actually the most productive month for me in terms of reading. I have not read this many books in a while, and all of them are just really good quality books as well. And I will walk you through them, and some of them are part of my these readathons that I'm joining, or currently doing for both July and August, and namely sapphic summer. So yeah, I filled in some of the prompts for that readathon using these books. So you will see a lot of sapphic books in general. So I have donned my rainbow earrings in a celebration for this. So yes, let's just talk about the books. Let's go. So the first book that I would like to actually talk about is a book that kind of started, it was an impulse buy. I wanted to get a couple of books from the bookstore, and this just caught my eye while I was on the way to the counter to pay for the books that I already picked out. But I'm very happy that I actually got this book, because it reminded me of a few things that I enjoy when I read books, and that is Blackwater Sister by Zancho. So this was sitting in one of those tables where they I don't know if it was Asian books written by Asian authors, or for the LGBTQ, because it was, I think, July. Yeah, it was July when I bought that. So yeah, I don't remember, but this just the cover really grabbed my attention. I liked the illustration on it, and when I read the back, I was like, this sounds vaguely familiar. I think it was Meg Cabot or something, but I remember reading the Mediator series. I think it was Meg Cabot when I was a kid, and I really enjoyed that series. I really like Supernatural and ghosts and all of that. Those are my favorite kind of horror. When it comes to the horror genre, I really love horror, the supernatural, and it's something that I've enjoyed since I was young. So this gave me that kind of vibes, because the main character Jess in here is actually a mediator, well, against her will. And she and her family moved back to Malaysia, where they sort of decided to stay there since they don't have money anymore after her father got sick. So most of their money went to like his hospital bills. And there she meets her grandmother, who is actually a ghost who tries to like take over her body and do like a lot of weird things, basically take control of her life. And Jess is also queer, so this is like could have been part of my sapphic summer, but it didn't start when I read this book. Yeah, we just follow through her journey as she discovers more of her culture, of like the ghosts and the gods. That's the part of this book that really like gripped me, is like the culture. It made me want to learn Hokkien. Is that how I say it, or how people say it? But yeah, it made me want to learn Hokkien, and also more about the Chinese and all the Malaysian gods, ghosts, whatever, about their temples and all of that. So yeah, very, very interesting read. It was more action packed than I expected, but I didn't mind it. I think it was like very badass. And yeah, this I believe I gave, if I have to just check my notes, I believe I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. There were just some parts that I wasn't like, the reason why I didn't give this like a 5 stars is because I was expecting more romance. Because I guess I was in the romance mood. I really thought that it would focus on, well, a lot of things, but also on romance between Jess and her girlfriend. They're in a long distance relationship, and I really like related to some parts of it because I myself have been in a long distance relationship. So yeah, but still, there were good romance bits. The conflicts here that just go through are really well done, and yeah, I just really like how this ended as well. It was a very satisfying ending. But yeah, I just wish there were more romance. So yeah, that's it. This is also like the first book that I like tried to like find an annotating system with. But yeah, I didn't annotate as much. But yeah, I do have a system now after I like watch a lot of like other people's videos on how they annotate and stuff like that. So yeah, that's it. I talked a lot. The next book is actually like a book that I'm still reading because it doesn't, well, I think I could make it kind of work, but it doesn't really fit any of the prompts for the readathons that I'm in, and I really wanted to focus on the books I have on my readathon, like on my readathon TBR list, I mean, and I know that we can, like bend the rules a little bit, but I'm not really a person that can read like 2 books at the same time. Like I really need like one book that I'm like focused on until I finish it. And so when I started the readathons, I actually had to put this to the side, but it doesn't mean that it's not a good book or anything. It's just, I have to have time for it after the readathons. Anyways, this book is called A Dark and Hollow Star by Ashley Shuttleworth. And there's a lot of things that is happening in this book. Like literally a lot of things. Because we follow a multi-perspective of like queer characters actually. And first I was drawn to this because of the cover. Like the art is so pretty. Like look at her. I love the art on the cover. And then I also love the story, of course. I actually do not know how to explain this book because I haven't like finished yet. I'm still at the what chapter am I? I'm still at chapter 6, so I can just like read from the like flap about like this, what the story is about. So, so it says, choose your player. The Ironborn half-fae outcast of her royal fae family, a temptuous, is that how you say it? Fury, exiled to Earth from the immortal realm and hell-bent on revenge. A dutiful fae prince determined to earn his place on the throne. The prince's brooding guardian, burdened with a terrible secret. For centuries, the 8 courts of folk have lived among us, concealed by magic and bound by law to do no harm to humans. This arrangement has long kept peace in the courts, until a series of gruesome and ritualistic murders rocks the city of Toronto and threatens to expose fairies to the human world. 4 queer teens, each holding a key piece to the truth behind these murders, must form a tenuous alliance in their effort to track down the mysterious killer behind these crimes. If they fail, they risk the destruction of the fairy and human worlds alike. If that's not bad enough, there's a war brewing between the mortal and immortal realms, and one of these teens is destined to tip the scales. The only question is, which way? Wish them luck. They're going to need it. So, what do you think? Because, yeah, I picked this book up so fast. Like, I've seen this on, like, a couple of, like, sapphic recommendations. But I do suggest that before you pick this up, that you actually check the trigger warnings. I can, like, read them for you, because, like, there's a lot of them, actually. Some are, like, minor and not and off the page, but here it says that the content warnings are anger, arson, blood or gore, body horror, minor, death of a child, depression, disownment, divorce, drug use or addiction, grief or grieving, human trafficking, poverty, psychopathy, stalking, suicide, passed off page, suicidal ideation, toxic relationship or manipulation, trauma or PTSD, racism and violence or gun violence. So that is like a lot. And yeah, so just, you know, before you go into this, just, you know, keep that in mind. But so far, I really like love the characters that I've been introduced to. So far, the characters like, of course, there is Nausicaa, who is, I don't even know if that's how you say her name, but Nausicaa is like the Fury. She was cast down because, well, she killed like a lot of humans and like revenge for her sister's death. So this is her. She's so pretty. And then we also meet Arlo, who is the half-fae. And yeah, she's she's in high school, I believe. So yeah. And also Saladin. I love Saladin. Like, he is the type of like you know, the little forgive me for putting it bluntly, but like the little shit character who's like full of himself, who everyone fawns over, but he's like super brutal to the people that bully Arlo, his cousin. He's very protective, and he reminds me of like someone like a K-pop idol. So yeah, so that's why I love him. And yeah, I hopefully will be finished reading this book soon after I finish my readathons, because I really want to finish this already. We are getting to the good part, so let's just hope that I finish for, you know, my sanity. So yeah. So, speaking of sanity, yeah, this book, I believe, just like wrecked me in half, or like multiple pieces. Actually, it wrecked me like multiple pieces, multiple times. I was like a mess of emotions. I have not reacted this strongly, reading a book in like a very, very long while. And it just like evoked so many different like emotions within me. The writing was like witty and also hard hitting, and there was like, I mean, there were some parts that were happy, and you like when they were happy, it's just like you felt like so warm and just happy for the characters. But when it was like, you know, bad, it was like bad. And anyways, I believe this is like everyone knows this book by now, and that is A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. And boy oh boy, this chonker of a book, this, I don't know, man. There's so many things to be said about this book. And yeah, before you go into, like, people say that you have to be in the right headspace. I know Cherry told me that, you know, people have said that you have to be in the right headspace to read this. And I do agree, because it gets overwhelming really fast. If you're a person who is very emotional and you get attached to characters really easily. And there are a lot of themes here that basically wreck the characters you love and care about. So I do recommend that you check the trigger warnings for this one, especially since it talks very heavily about self-harm, and also what you call this? Actually, yeah, it talks a lot about a lot. But yeah, so I thought buying this that this would just be like a fun time. I mean, it will be sad, but like it will be like a fun, there will like mostly like the good will outweigh the sadness, like because it talked about like a very close group of friends, you know, navigating life after college, you know, trying to gain success in the respective fields that they in their respective fields. And basically, the synopsis doesn't really lie, but it just like touches the very bare minimum of what the story actually is. And I think that's great because it takes like, I believe, like a lot of like self-control and skill to, you know, write the synopsis that doesn't give away everything in the book. So I buddy read this with Cherry from Cherry Actually Reads, and we had to take like a few days off from reading this because it was just like too much. There were some chapters that were actually like really long, so we had to split those up. And let me tell you, like, once you read this, please just look out for Harold, because he is like the type of character that every person deserves to have in their life. I just love Harold. I don't think I've like loved a second character, or like not a side character, I mean, as much as I love Harold. He is just the best person ever in the world. And I am saying this very vaguely because I don't want to spoil too much, but he is the best person in the world, basically. And yeah, there are a lot of things that happen in this book, because it does follow them from like their after their college life to like when they're old, basically in their 60s, and also so yeah. And yeah, there are a lot of phases they go through. And Jude, oh my god, I have never met a character like Jude ever in my whole like existence, or like since when I was able to read. So anyways, this book is just pain. That's it. Moving on. Oh yeah, I forgot to say like the rating that I gave for this book. I gave it, let me just check. Yeah, I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars because I like pain. And it was just that good. Like like I read like the comments and it's just funny. Like the reviews for this book, I mean, and it was just like funny because people say it's pain porn and they are correct. So if you want pain, if you want to cry and like make this face, because I was making this face all the time, go read A Little Life. Okay, had to do a retake there because my stand here fell down. So anyways, so the next book that I'm going to talk about filled in one of the prompts for my Sapphic Summer Readathon, or Sapphic Summer Readathon that I'm joining, and that is Somersault by Katrina Lano. And this book filled in the prompt for it takes place in the summer. So in this book, we meet Georgina, and Georgina turns 18 with her sister Mary, twin sister Mary. And around this time, the women in her family actually get powers. So it can be anything from making potions, from flying, and etc., etc. And and her powers haven't really manifested yet, but Mary's has, and she's worried that she will actually, you know, not have any powers at all. And at the same time, she also wishes she doesn't, so she could have a normal college life. So, you know, and during the summer, there's a bird that visits near their house. And this bird, they actually think that it is actually one of their ancestors or grandmother, great-great-grandmother, forgot. And there are a lot of like tourists that come to their inn to take pictures of the bird and see if if one of her eggs will hatch. So yeah, and it's basically just Georgina trying to find out whether she will have any powers, and also just the familial bonds, because while there was some romance, well actually there was a lot of romance in this one, I think it focused also very heavily on the bond between Georgina and her twin sister Mary. And it reminded me very much of my own bond with my sister, who I love and adore. But yeah, don't tell her that. So yeah. I really enjoyed that aspect of this book as well, and also the magic when it happened, because there is a big storm that happens and a lot of things happened during that storm. So yeah, do pick this up if you want like a very light, very quick read. I finished this like within a day, I think, or 2 days, because I was busy. But yeah, definitely a good read, feel good read as well, and yeah, will leave you feeling very fluffy and warm inside. So, oh yeah, again, I forgot to say what I rated this for. Okay, I rated this 5 out of 5 stars. The next book that I'm going to talk about is Follow Your Arrow by Jessica Verdi. And I read this on my Kindle for Sapphic Summer, and the prompt, less than 1,000 ratings on Goodreads. So in Goodreads, it actually only has like 325 ratings, which is kind of like criminal, because this book actually is good. And it follows Cece and Sylvie, and also this guy Josh. Basically, Cece and Sylvie are like internet famous influencers who are, you know, publicly dating, and they are basically like couple goals, and everyone ships them and all of that. And suddenly they break up. So after the breakup, Cece tries to find, both Cece and Sylvie are like trying to find themselves, their own individual selves, and trying to like still build up their brand and their following and all of that. And Cece is actually like scared that she will lose followers, or that people won't follow her, because in her eyes Sylvie is like superior in terms of like not only looks but also the content she posts and all of that. So she tries a bunch of things that will earn her following, and also still keep her keep her followers. And then she meets Josh, who has zero presence in social media, and he's a musician, or an aspiring musician. So she helps him out in like building his brand, and that's how they kind of build this friendship, and it slowly turns into a relationship. And Cece basically just hides her true self, or like her like internet self, and doesn't let Josh know that she's actually a famous influencer. So yeah, and it talks about how biphobia is very prominent in this book, and also finding yourself, and how to like find yourself after a breakup where you guys thought that you were one whole instead of like just two individuals sharing their world together. It talks a lot about being true to yourself, and not caring too much about what people say, and just posting what you want on social media, all of that, being genuine. So the themes and the topics in this book is actually like really relevant. The author did a really good job with that. So I encourage you guys to give this a try, because it does deserve more attention. So yeah, and I also gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. The next book is part of the sapphic trifecta. If you have been on Twitter, then you will know one of the books. Then you will have a guess on what book this is among the three. And this book I have a lot of mixed feelings about, but mostly like positive. I really did enjoy this book. I gave it like a 4 out of 5 stars. So yeah, and we will talk about the book now. I should lift it up. And it's The Unbroken by C.L. Clarke. So yeah, this filled in my prompt for pick a book at random or blindfolded. So I just put this book along with other sapphic books that I have in like a random generator, and got this one, so which I was very pleased about. Although the chunkiness did like intimidate me, I really pushed myself, and I actually have a 24-hour readathon vlog coming up featuring this book and what I feel about it and all of that. So I'm just trying to find the right time to post it. What I liked about this book is the magic system, or what we know, or we'll come to know about the magic system, because it's talked about like in theory a lot, and then it's not until like the last part of the book that we just like really get to know about it. I also really love Princess Luca, who is one of our main characters in this book. And why do I like her? I just like princesses who are badass, and not just like badass. They need to have like like masculine features, or masculine traits in order for them to be badass, because she's a princess, she wears dresses, she is also disabled, by the way, so there is that representation in this book. And she is amazing. She does make a lot of questionable choices, but Terrain, are also our main character, does make them as well. So there's like a lot of questionable choices in this book made not only by them but by a lot of people. Like, you will be conflicted. Like, who will you side in this like war that is like brewing and everything? The romance here, guys, the romance here was really good. It was somewhat like a friends to lovers kind of dynamic, because it was only when they Terrain and Luca developed a bond where they both respect each other that they sort of started having feelings for each other. And I love that about this one. I will talk more about what the things I love, the things I didn't love so much in my 24-hour readathon vlog. 24-hour readathon vlog, but I did give this a 4 out of 5 stars. And yeah. And this is like the second to last book that I will be talking about for this video. And this filled in one of the prompts again for my sapphic summer TBR, or well, bingo. And that is have a friend pick out a book. And for that, Cherry from Cherry Actually Reads, please follow her, actually picked this book for me. And that is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Very well known, very well loved book. I annotated like heck for this one. I enjoyed this so much, and I just couldn't put it down unless I had to like sleep and I was distracted. But you know, that is not the book's fault. So I love a lot of things about this book, mainly Evelyn. I love her character. I love her tenacity, and the plot twist at the end. I also love Monica's growth throughout this book. I think I gave this like a 5 out of 5 stars, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. And also, there is a Harold in this book. And his name is Harry. The best person you could ever have in your life. The most supportive, the one who loves you unconditionally, who will do everything for you and you will do everything for them. The one who like, you know, guides you towards the correct path, who stops you from doing like terrible decisions that will literally ruin your life. That kind of person. And I love them. I love Harold in this book. Or Harold, I mean Harry. Oh my god. Harry. I'm so sorry. There was a lot of like commentary in this book about, you know, being a person, being a woman in a dog-eat-dog world, in a industry that's very harsh. We see Evelyn change her appearance in order to appeal to the public, and this basically helps skyrocket her fame to like insane heights. Evelyn is a badass, and I love her throughout this book. Even though she makes terrible decisions, I was still rooting for her. I was still rooting for her happiness, because I care about her, and the author did a really good job with that. So the last book that I will talk about, or actually it's a manga, and it's called Alter Ego, and it's by Ana C. Sanchez. I didn't include this in like any of my TBRs or whatever for the readathons that I joined, but I just wanted to read this because I saw it on Kindle Unlimited. The plot itself isn't that original, but I do love me this kind of plot, and the art style was really cute, so I was like, okay, I'll give it a try. And yeah, I enjoyed it. It was like a quick read, just something to pass time, and just something to get me out of my reading slump because I was feeling unmotivated to read at that time. So I thought, okay, why not try a manga? So this book is about Noelle, who is in love with her best friend Elena, and she hasn't been able to confess to her. But then Elena starts dating a boy, and basically her whole world is shattered until she meets this June, this girl June, who is Elena's friend who visits every break or something. And Noelle and June haven't officially met until June actually moves to the city that Noelle and Elena and also the boyfriend lives in. So yeah, she basically rocks her world, and it's kind of like an enemies to lovers trope. So if you're into that, it's this manga is really cute. I would recommend it if you have Kindle Unlimited. I did give Alter Ego a 4 or a 5 out 5 star. So I am very, very generous when it comes to rating. It doesn't really take much to please me. So yeah, and that's basically all the books that I've read in July. So I read a total of like 8. Well, almost 8, because I'm still not finished with A Dark and Hollow Star. But still, I'm really happy with that number. I have not read that much in a very, very long while. And not only like in number, but also the quality of the books that I've read this last month was really good. So that is why I also want to make this video. So yeah, I'm very proud of myself, very happy. I hope that in August, or well, so far my August like reading journey is not that great. But we shall see when I make my August wrap up how it goes. So yeah, that is it for me for today. And yeah, leave like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think about the books, if I've talked about, if you've read them. And yeah, I'll see you when I see you. Bye! Wait nga lang, ano ba yan?